Hi, today I'd like to talk to you about or show you what progress looks like when you're practicing, and I've got the help of my daughter Lily, who is currently learning to play a piece of music sort of by ear and by pattern. Now, one of my students currently is learning to play this piece by ear as well, but it's kind of, we're using it as a reward if he manages to get the practice in for his reading pieces. So it's quite a useful thing and he loves it. And that makes me happy if he's happy. So it's called Bundle of Joy from the Pixar movie Inside Out. It's quite an old movie now. But it's a really lovely little tune, and he suggested it, and I looked it up, and it's actually quite a nice simple one to teach by pattern, and sort of combination by teaching by rote or pattern, where you play a bit and they copy, and also by ear, so you can hear the melody and sort of use that to work out the notes. So my daughter overheard this one that we were working on, and she said, "Oh mummy, can I learn that too?" So I thought, yeah, why not? Now I have to put a caveat in here. You may assume that I just teach my children just the same way as I teach my students, but anyone who's tried to teach their own children anything, let alone learn to play an instrument, will know that never goes down the same pathway, or very rarely goes down the same pathway. So my daughter can read music, but we don't do official lessons in any sense, anything like that. So she learns to play, she likes at the moment to learn things by ear and by pattern, and I pretty much leave her to it. I give her a couple of pointers, and when she asks for help, I kind of, I'll help her as much as she would like me to, and then I take a step back and let her go with it. Now, she asked me if I could record her, make a couple of videos of her practicing. This was all her own idea, and I thought, yeah, that's great, because if you get used to playing in front of just even a camera, knowing that you're being recorded, that's a brilliant thing too. And actually what came out of it, I thought was really valuable and really interesting for me to then be able to share with you, with her permission, of course. She's very excited that she's going to be featured in a video. So, Bundle of Joy. It's not a very long piece of music, and the way she started was just learning the melody line in her right hand, and I showed her the little bits, and she just sort of did that over and over. And then she wanted to put the left hand with it, and this is a first for her, because everything so far has been just the melody played between her two hands. So what I did, she'd actually the way it started is she went to school and they get to use the glockenspiels, and she worked it out on the glockenspiel at school, and she wrote down the names of the notes so that she could come home and then have a go on the piano. And here it is. So this little bit up here, this is what she created, Inside Out theme, and she wrote the names of all the notes, including the F sharps, whenever they came up. So that was what helped her, and it's not in any particular, it's not divided into lines in any particular group of phrases, it's just how it came out. So that was great. So that's what she was following, and that worked for her. And then what we've got underneath is the bit I put together when she wanted to put the left hand with it, which is, left hand is just two notes in pairs, one after the other, D and B. And then it moves down by one key, so that it's C and A. Okay? Now that sounds pretty simple on its own, and it is, but the coordination between the right hand and left hand is what has been the real challenge for her, and one that she has overcome with really good practice, really dedicated practice, all of her own motivation. So what I've written here is I took her letters, names of the notes, and I wrote, don't know if that's clear enough in light pencil, RH for right hand on the top and LH for left hand, because that mimics the way we look at it on the stave. So I wanted to kind of incorporate a little bit of the structure of the way music is read. And I've written the names of the notes on the right hand along the top, and then the names of the notes of the left hand underneath. I've also put bar lines in because I couldn't help it. Just to help divide it up, because bar lines are very helpful for allowing your eye to easily see units of music and it not be one long string of notes, because that's much harder to keep track of if you're glancing down and up again. Anyway, we've got a long line after notes that need to be held for more than the length of the note in the left hand. So what she did was she followed this as if she was reading proper music. This is just a rudimentary form of it in effect. And she was able to line up the right hand and the left hand by following this, and it worked brilliantly. So what we did was, once she started, I've got a bunch of clips that go right from her first day of trying to play this hands together, and I'll sort of point out the bits that I'd like you to see if you can notice in each clip, because they are all the features of good piano practice. And I'm not just saying this because she's my daughter. I was very surprised that this is what she naturally gravitated towards doing, which will make sense as I go into it. So we've got 3 days, day 1, day 2, day 3, from last week in half term, and a couple of clips from each. So for the first day, when she was just starting to put hands together, this is the very first clip. So she's kind of looking at the note, sort of our simple version of notation, keeping her eyes up on the music as it were, and trying to piece it together slowly and coordinate her hands. So that's this clip. The next clip we have is the same first 2 phrases of the melody, and she's sort of starting to move her body. You might notice she's trying to move her body left and right, which I don't think she was conscious of doing until I pointed it out, but it was interesting that she did do it, because she's trying to help keep her left hand going in this rhythm, boom, 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 by moving her body, while still playing the right hand in the right rhythm. So sometimes it's not a bad thing to happen, and actually you'll see as we go through the clips it starts to settle down. So here's the next clip. Now at this point she's gone through these first 2 phrases about 5 or 6 times in a row. She sort of gets to the end and then starts again, and this is exactly what good practice is all about. You just have a go, and then you break it down into little sections. You have a go, and then you just do it again and again and again. And then this next clip is one that really made me smile, and I hope you enjoy it as well. This clip is just showing her, which I think she says wow in this clip at the end. She plays through the little section, and then she has this feeling of, I did it, this is great. So that one made me really happy, and obviously you can see she's very happy too. Okay, so now we're on to day 2. So after she carried on, this is something I should say, she went back to the piano probably a dozen times throughout the day, just randomly. She wanted to come back and try that again and again. And that short, regular, repetitive practice is what really embeds a new thing in your brain, no matter whether you're a child or an adult. And this is just something that was really motivating for her. So that's what she wanted to do. So this is we've only got two clips for day 2. So this first one, she's had an overnight of sleep where her brain archived the information, sorted it all out, because there's a lot going on in your brain when you're doing this kind of thing. And when she starts off, it's quite a bit faster. I think you'll probably notice it's quite a bit faster than the previous clips. And that's okay because it holds together for a bit, but you might notice that some of it gets a bit uneven in the left hand and also the right hand. So the fingers they get to their notes too soon. So the notes get a bit uneven. She's making a few mistakes, but she's also moving her body less. She's not doing quite so much of this because that pattern in her left hand is established, which is great. So that's this clip. The next clip is still on day 2, and after things getting a bit uneven, she made the decision herself. This was all on her own. I sort of saw these clips after they were made. She made the decision to slow things down because it was getting uneven and kind of a bit out of control. So that was really a great thing to do because it's so tempting to go fast when you're learning something, and because it sounds better when it's fast, and if it holds together it's great for that little bit, and then it kind of falls apart because it's gone too fast too soon. So she slows it all down in this very next one. And we do actually have a third clip for day 2, and that one is so useful because at this point things feel like they're going a little bit backwards. She's playing wrong notes where she wasn't before, and this is a brilliant example of sort of a bit of brain fog or brain overwhelm when you're practicing, and this will happen to everybody. So at some point in your practice session, you'll have great concentration at the beginning and you'll be having a go and everything's logical, and then what feels like for no reason at all, it will start to maybe fall apart a bit, and that can be quite a scary thing because you think, oh no, it's getting worse, I've done more practice and it's getting worse. All that's happening is your brain is a little bit overloaded, and so the best thing to do is to have a break, even a short break, come back, and it just give your brain a bit of a chance to recover. Because it really is doing so many different things all at once when you're practicing. So yeah, here's the clip showing a little bit of brain overwhelm. Right, so after I think she had about a 20-minute break, she just took her jumper off. So it's still on the same day. She had a short break and she came back to it, and as expected, things had just clicked back into place, and it's really sounding quite good in this clip. so now we're on to day 3. Another night of sleep, another night of organisation in her brain, and she had a great time playing, and she was so happy at being able to play it as well as she does in this very next clip. So this was 3 days in a row of regular practice. Obviously it's very condensed, and she had the ability to do this because it was half term. She's still got some small pauses where the section changes, but I think you'll agree she's made some brilliant progress in a very short space of time, but it was through repetitive, dedicated practice. So here is her success after 3 days of practice, playing this little section of Bundle of Joy, Hands Together. And that's all the clips that I have for you. So I hope this was interesting for you to see all the little bits that go into practice, and from the perspective of my 9-year-old, and the motivation that she had to get this right. Okay, have a good day.